We're following breaking news overnight out of Baltimore. The Francis Scott Key Bridge has collapsed in the Patapsco River.
This happening early this morning after the bridge was struck by a large ship. Incredible video right there. So let's take a closer look.
Yes, some of that shocking video shows the ship approaching the bridge and crashing directly into one of the support columns. A large section of the bridge immediately crumpled into the water. There are reports of cars being on the bridge at the time of the collapse. Authorities say they're trying to rescue at least 7 people. As of 3:30 this morning, the bridge serves as the outermost crossing of Baltimore Harbor and is an essential link of Interstate 695 or the Baltimore Beltway. We will continue to bring you updates all morning long via the Breaking News Center. To get breaking news push alerts sent directly to your phone, download the Dayton 24/7 Now app in Google Play and Apple app stores.
All right, now let's take a live look at downtown Dayton, where we are waking up to a really wet morning here in the Miami Valley.
Yeah, it was rough getting into work this morning, but you know.
It was nice waking up to the rain, though.
I was going to say, we had the nice weather yesterday. We've got this today. Let's check on meteorologist Nick Maruziak. And Nick, this is going to calm down for a little bit and then start back up later.
Yeah, I think that's the general theme of the day. It's just a question mark of when exactly we do see, or if we do see, a significant, let's say, changing of the really wet day. So here's what we're looking at right for now. Showers across the area. This is going to continue for at least maybe another hour, 2 hours over Dayton area, and perhaps 3 or 4 across the northern part of our area. Then from that point on, it's really a question mark of can we warm up and can we clear out? Right for now, temperatures somewhere upper 40s and low 50s. As that rain clears, again, there could be a brief window where we drop a little bit more. As it is today, at best, we're aiming for the mid 60s. There is that risk of storms possible during the afternoon and evening. I think if we do see any type of rain during the afternoon, more likely to be showers, but during the evening, things are going to be perhaps a little bit more hectic if we do get that clearing. Now, as for traffic this morning, obviously wet roads mean it's going to take a little bit longer to stop. Keep that in mind as you head out the door this morning.
FEMA is in Logan County today to work with local and state authorities to further assess tornado damage. It will also be visiting at least 11 other counties in the state that have been also hit.
Jenna Lee Borg has more from Lakeview about what FEMA will be doing.
FEMA
Clayton Drive. Now, he died later at the hospital. Police arrested Sexton. He's charged with murder. The 24-year-old remains in the Clark County Jail.
The former Xenia postal worker accused of stealing mail is now facing several felony charges. Prosecutors charged Toya Hill with 2 counts of identity fraud and 3 counts of receiving stolen property. She'll be back in court April 5th. Her jury trial is scheduled to begin in May.
Our time right now is 5:07. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
In the wake of the ISIS attack in Moscow, there are growing concerns that terrorists could make their way into the United States via the southern border. I'm Dee Dee Gatton with a look at the warning from FBI Director Christopher Wray.
The open pipe that she ended up in was supposed to be pushing water out.
Tragedy in Houston after an 8-year-old girl drowned while swimming in a hotel pool. Coming up, how investigators say she ended up there.
You're watching Your Day. Tragic story in Houston, Texas. An 8-year-old girl drowning after being sucked into a pipe while she was swimming in a hotel pool. The girl was initially reported missing, but after a search crew reviewed security footage, they found she went underwater and never resurfaced. That's when they drained the pool and sent a camera almost 20 feet into one of the pool's pipes.
I know there was one speculation last night from somebody that knows quite a bit and everything that the pump was wired wrong, so it was sucking instead of pushing.
The search crew said it took about 13 hours to recover the girl's body. An investigation is underway.
All right, well, that's the view right now as you look over Dayton. Obviously, the drops of rain still continue across the area. This has been one of those really wet mornings so far, but that was to be expected. Now, the major question mark about today is about the hours between 8 and maybe 2 or 3. And the reason for that is we do expect there to be somewhat of a lull. This time around, yesterday the models were almost going direct sunshine. Now it seems like there is going to be at least some chances of showers. So I would say our chances of rain, if anything, have gone up, but the chances of storms may have gone down, because anytime that you do get any type of showers, it really takes the energy out of the atmosphere. And when this cold front comes through, that's really the major question mark. Still think that there's a window for us to see stronger storms, perhaps even a borderline severe. Winds would be the primary threat, but it does seem like that chance is relatively low. In terms of the actual risk, SPC has us level 2 out to the west, level 1 over a good portion of the Miami Valley. Again, showers and storms likely during the afternoon and or evening. If we do see them during the afternoon, it lowers the chances of storms during the evening, and that's your main window for any type of strong to severe storms. Temperatures mid-50s, rest of the forecast 50s giving way to 60s, and you notice those chances of rain over the weekend. It's very much so low-end chances of rain, but something we're watching closely because obviously, you know, we got the weekend to look forward to, right? Right. As for the roads this morning, they're wet, and it's one of those mornings where I can guarantee you this. We need to take it very slowly outside. Not saying at a crawl, but give yourself a lot of extra time. Obviously, with wet roads means higher stopping distances, and last thing we want to do is have a bunch of crashes on a Tuesday morning.
The Biden administration is spending $6 billion to slash planet-warming pollution from heavy industries, including cement, steel, and aluminum. The funding will go to more than 30 factories around the country who are taking steps to cut about 14 million metric tons of carbon dioxide annually. That equates to taking about 3.3 million cars off the road in a year. The funding comes from a combination of the Inflation Reduction Act and the bipartisan infrastructure law.
The Biden administration is now saying several Chinese hackers targeted American companies on behalf of China's Ministry of State Security spy agency. Multiple federal agencies are cracking down on the hackers with likely criminal charges, sanctions, and a multi-million-dollar reward for information on them. A source said the group used a Chinese technology company as a front to cover their hacking activity.
It will be my honor to post, and we'll post whatever is necessary, whether it be cash or security or bonds.
A New York appeals court has given former President Trump 10 more days to post his bond to satisfy the civil fraud judgment. The amount necessary to post bond was lowered to $175 million from roughly $500 million. Legal observers say it's a major lifeline for Trump. He and his adult sons and the company were fined more than $464 million after a judge ruled they fraudulently inflated the value of his assets. The former president had been struggling to come up with the means to post the original bond of more than $500 million. Trump says he greatly respects the appellate court's decision and will post the $175 million bond quickly.
Last week's terror attack in Russia is sounding the alarm bells in the U.S., specifically over warnings that terrorists could cross into the country through the U.S.-Mexico border. The National Desk's Didi Gatton joins us now with the latest from the Capitol.
In the aftermath of Friday's ISIS terrorist attack in Russia that left more than 130 people dead, there's growing concern over terrorists making their way into the United States.
It only took 4 people to do what they did in Moscow. We've had 9 million something people that have entered this country unlawfully and illegally. It only takes 4 to do this kind of carnage.
In fiscal years 2022 and 2023, U.S. Border Patrol apprehended more than 2 million migrants at the southern border. Border Patrol Chief Jason Owens says people from at least 160 countries have come across this fiscal year alone.
What's keeping me up at night is the 140,000 known gotaways. Border security is a big piece of national security, and if we don't know who is coming into our country and we don't know what their intent is, that is a threat, and they're exploiting a vulnerability that's on our border right now.
Last month, there were nearly 190,000 encounters at the southern border and more than 1 million so far in fiscal year 2024. Border concerns also coming from U.S. intelligence agencies. During a Senate Intelligence Committee hearing this month, FBI Director Christopher Wray warned of a human smuggling network with ties to ISIS and said that threats from several groups have now reached a whole other level.
There is a particular network that has where some of the overseas facilitators of the smuggling network have ISIS ties that we're very concerned about and that we've been spending an enormous amount of effort with our partners investigating.
Since Friday's attack, the U.S. has not raised its terror threat warning, but on Sunday, France raised its terror alert to its highest level, which will allow for an increase in patrols by armed forces in some public places. This change comes just months before Paris hosts the Olympics this summer. I'm Dee Gatton reporting.
Our time right now is 5:18. Here's a live shot out of Maryland, where a bridge collapsed early this morning. We're checking in with sister station Baltimore. We'll have the latest coming up.
You're watching Your Day.
Time for Pet of the Day here on Your Day, where, of course, we celebrate your pets, and it's a 2-for-1 Tuesday, right? Yeah, today's Tuesday. Puppers and Wee Man. I'm not sure what these two dogs are, but I can tell you what they are. Very good dogs. Look at them on the bed, eating their little treats. Yeah, I gotta love to see it. Now today, a little bit different than yesterday. Yesterday was a day where I think every dog in the neighborhood was out and about because it was gorgeous. Today, it's probably going to be a case of you're going to have to pick and choose your time period. Now, I've highlighted this time period in yellow between 4 and 6 p.m. That's where we do start to see chances of showers and storms increase yet again. But that's based on this window from about 10 p.m. to 2 p.m. being a little bit more quiet. As it is right now, I could see a scenario where it's just all day of on again, off again showers compared to a really big window of clearing. So if you are going to be out and about during this time period from about noontime through 2 p.m., that's where you got to make sure that it's not raining right now, right over the top of you, and maybe check in with your radar. Obviously, this is a case where I think it's going to be touch and go all day, but especially later on this afternoon and evening, that's where we have a better chance of storms. On the roads this morning, it's very much so a wet morning commute, so keep that in mind. As of right now, no tie-ups or incidents. Just a reminder, we do have road construction on 70 west and eastbound as you head towards Indiana.
Chick-fil-A announced it would be shifting from antibiotic-free chicken starting this spring, citing supply reasons. The company says it will shift from no antibiotics ever to no antibiotics important to human medicine starting in the spring of 2024. Well, many Americans believe in karma. This was conducted by one poll on behalf of banking app Chime, and it found 84% buy into the idea that what goes around comes around. Perhaps inspired by that notion, another 84% say they will go out of their way to pay it forward whenever possible. Beyond the mysterious karma-related benefits, these acts of paying it forward have real effects on those on the receiving end. Americans feel better about themselves, their life overall, and they feel more confident when they're able to do so. Well, according to FlexJobs, a job finding agency for remote and flexible work, 95% of people want some sort of work from home, whether it's hybrid or full. Companies that adapt to the trend and invest in remote-friendly policies and technologies will lead the market, according to this particular survey. From the NASDAQ, I'm Jane King. Here's your health.
U.S. officials say milk from sick cattle in Texas and Kansas have tested positive for bird flu. Officials tested samples of the milk as part of an investigation into an illness among dairy cows in Texas, Kansas, and New Mexico. It comes about a week after some goats were diagnosed with the illness. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, at this stage, there was no concern about the safety of the commercial milk supply.
If you're a fan of Nike sneakers, some of them may be more difficult for you to find. Nike reportedly wants to slash supply of its Nike Air Force One and Nike Pegasus sneakers in order to boost demand. Nike's goal is to prevent discounting and make room for newer lines. Growth has slowed for some of its products, and stores have been promoting the shoes to clear inventory. So the company plans to cut back supply in order to sell its merchandise at higher prices and keep them from being heavily discounted. Nike expects the cutbacks to hurt sales during the upcoming fiscal year.
It's time to go all Popeye for National Spinach Day. Celebrate with a spinach salad, enjoy spinach dip, put spinach in your smoothie, or add it to whatever dish you like. Spinach will give a boost of calcium, fiber, and cancer-fighting antioxidants to your meal.
The Powerball jackpot's continuing to grow. Yep, there was no grand prize winner in the Powerball drawing last night. And according to the lottery's website, 2 players, one in New York and one in Florida, won $1 million each. The next Powerball drawing is tomorrow, and it's estimated to be $865 million. If the grand prize is won, it'd be the 5th largest in the game's history. And I kind of wonder what the previous winners are doing now. Do you think they're like
living their best life?
Do you think they like moved off to like a
off
remote island? Yeah.
I mean,
we talk about our fantasies about what we'd do if we won the money, but like we never ever hear what these people actually do.
That's true. I feel like they go silent when
I don't blame
win,
them.
which is smart because
everybody comes out of the
people
woodwork.
Are sketchy.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I would probably go off the grid.
Yeah, Janice got real rich. Yeah, good for her.
She's living her best life now.
Our time right now is 5:26, still to come.
Today, FEMA will assess damage in Logan County after the deadly tornado hit just over a week ago. What local agencies are hoping for is next.
And taking a live look over Washington, D.C. this morning, where the Supreme Court is set to hear arguments on the abortion pill mifepristone. Coming up, why officials say the FDA overstepped.
You're watching Your Day. We're following breaking news overnight out of Baltimore. The Francis Scott Key Bridge has collapsed into the Patapsco River.
This happening early this morning after the bridge was struck by a large ship. This is just incredible to see. So let's take a closer look at that shocking video. Footage shows the ship approaching the bridge and crashing directly into one of the support columns. A large section of the bridge immediately crumbled into the water. There were cars on the bridge at the time of its collapse.
And here's a live shot over the bridge right now. Very dark out. Officials warning this is a mass casualty, multi-agency incident. And of course, we are continuing to follow this story very closely and bring you updates from the Breaking News Center all morning long. To get breaking news push alerts sent directly to your phone, download the Dayton 24/7 Now app in Google Play and Apple App Stores.
We are waking up to a very rainy, wet start.
Yes, we are, and we're joined by meteorologist Nick Maruziak. Nick, we are looking at the radar right here behind us over the Miami Valley, and it looks like It's
Oh, I
passing
agree.
through a little bit. Are we going to get a break in this today?
Yeah, and I think that's the major question mark. Obviously, we have a little bit of a break here, but when you look out further to the west, that's where we could still see the rain. Let's go ahead, go over to the weather wall, and I'll break it all down for you. So here's what we're looking at. The rain continues, and there you see a little bit of a lull. Now, the question mark about today is how much of it starts to fill in. And realistically, there is a chance that during the afternoon and evening, instead of being, let's say, just some clouds, we actually get more showers. What that would do is lower the chances of storms. On the other hand, if we do start to get not only the clouds clearing, but the sunshine, that's where the chances of storms does go up. At the present point, more likely for the first scenario, meaning clouds and showers, than actual storms, but something we're tracking closely. Either way, temperatures mid-60s. Will be slightly windy during the afternoon and evening, even if we don't get any storms. And if we do, that is going to be the more likely severe weather culprit, would be some really gusty winds. Now, if you are traveling this morning, it's breezy, it's rainy, it's not very fun, but it's also not necessarily the worst morning we've ever seen weather-wise. So at the present point, it does look like the roads are a little bit quieter, but as traffic picks up, just want to give yourself a little bit of extra time.
Today, FEMA will make its way across 11 counties here in Ohio that were all affected by the tornado outbreak earlier this month.
Melina Brown caught up with the Logan County Emergency Management Agency on their hopes for the visit.
Just days after the deadly tornadoes hit the area, Governor Mike DeWine declared a state of emergency for multiple counties here in the Buckeye State, including Logan County, where the Indian Lake community was severely affected. He also asked the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, to do a damage assessment. So today, 6 different teams will visit areas and determine how much aid may be needed. I spoke with officials from the Logan County EMA. They tell me everything at their level has been done.
EMA offices and the governor's office and conduct state level assessments. Kind of the next step for possibly securing additional funding and resources is to have federal agencies come in.
Ben Volrath with the Logan County EMA also told me that the Small Business Association also came to the area and determined they will provide assistance as well. Now, if you're looking for another way to help today, multiple Texas Roadhouse locations in the area will donate 100% of their profits to the United Way of Logan County's Indian Lake Tornado Relief Fund. Some of those locations include Fairborn, Troy, Huber Heights, and Springfield. But to see the full list of participating locations, you can head to our website, Dayton247now.com.
Developing this morning, Hamas is rejecting a proposed ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. The terrorist group claims Israel is ignoring key demands like ending the war entirely. Hamas says it also wants Israel's military to withdraw from Gaza and a prisoner exchange. Now, the announcement comes just hours after the United Nations Security Council approved a resolution demanding a ceasefire during Ramadan. The United States abstained from voting. U.S. officials warned the move could hurt negotiations. The ceasefire demand does not include the release of all hostages.
Israeli officials are reacting to yesterday's vote in the UN, and the Prime Minister's office posted a thread on X. In it, officials say the resolution will harm efforts to release the hostages. In response, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is canceling a delegation to the U.S. 2 of his top advisors were set to arrive in D.C. last night. President Biden requested the trip last week. He told Netanyahu he was concerned with plans for a ground offensive in Rafah and wanted the leaders to come to talk about alternatives.
We now know when the first ever criminal trial of a former president will begin. A judge set former President Trump's trial date for April 15th. It's in connection to the alleged payments he made to adult film star Stormy Daniels. Manhattan prosecutors allege he falsified internal business records at the Trump Organization. The documents were related to checks he sent to his lawyer, Michael Cohen. Cohen says he made hush money payments to Daniels in the lead up to the 2016 election. Trump denies having an affair with the actress. He pleaded not guilty to the criminal trial.
Today, the Supreme Court is set to hear arguments on the abortion pill mifepristone. Justices will have to decide if the FDA overstepped its bounds by making it easier for women to access. A group called the Alliance for Hippocratic Medicine sued the FDA. They first claimed the FDA shouldn't have approved the drug. Now their attorneys are arguing the agency allowed women easier access to mifepristone. Justices will have to determine if the doctors and other groups have been harmed by the drug in a way that gives them a right to sue.
Children who have access to books are more successful in school and beyond. That's why Dayton 24/7 Now is partnering with Reading is Fundamental and our parent company, Sinclair, for Sinclair Cares supporting children's literacy. Scan this QR code to join our virtual book drive. Just $4 can put a new book into the hands of a child. Donate today.
Our time right now is 5:37. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
A judge is now pushing back a trial date for a Columbus woman that's accused of killing a 5-year-old boy. We have the latest out of Columbus next.
You're watching Your Day. A judge is now pushing back the trial date for this woman, Pammy May. She's accused of killing 5-year-old Darnell Taylor and hid his body in a sewer drain. The judge is ordering a mental health evaluation, while her lawyer says he believes May understands the charges. He wants to focus on her mental state at the time of the alleged crime.
Competency means you're just, right now you can't understand who's who, what's what, and you can't help your lawyer with the defense. Okay? But NGRI means at the time of the offense, you are unable, due to a mental disease or defect, to appreciate the wrongfulness of your actions. So they're two different concepts. And so we're focused on the latter.
May is due back in court at the end of April.
Good morning. We are tracking the low that is bringing us not only rain, but also the potential there for maybe even some storms. I will say this, if anything, we have seen the chance go a little bit lower, but that's not to say it's hitting zero. So what I do expect is there to be showers throughout the morning for the next hour or two, then perhaps a brief lull, followed by either showers and or some storms. In terms of timing, today it's going to be all about the afternoon and evening. In specific, we are going to see storms. Seems more likely in that 5 to 7 p.m. window. So the big question mark is this period from about 9 to 1 p.m. As it is, I do think temperatures will be bare minimum in the 50s. But let's say we do get the sunshine. Like yesterday, we will likely get these temperatures well into the 60s. So there is still that threat for us to become a little bit destabilized. Based on the way that today is going, however, I still expect enough cloud cover to perhaps keep us from getting really destabilized. And because of that, I think it's more likely for us to see some showers, some rumbles of thunder, and maybe one or two stronger storms to develop. But it seems like this is going to be the type of system that won't be capable of producing a lot of severe weather, at least locally.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill into law banning social media accounts for kids under the age of 14. Under the law, 15 and 16-year-olds in Florida can get social media accounts with parental consent. Now, the bill gives parents a greater ability to protect their kids. That's according to the governor. Now, the bill is set to go into effect on January 1st. It is expected to face legal challenges from the tech industry.
Elon Musk's lawsuit targeting a watchdog group for its critical reports about hate speech on X has been tossed out in federal court. A federal judge called X's case as punitive, saying it wasn't about protecting the platform's security and legal rights. Musk sued the Center for Countering Digital Hate, X blamed the group for amplifying brand safety concerns and driving advertisers away from the site.
Baseball superstar Shohei Ohtani says he has never bet on baseball or any other sports. This as an investigation swirls around his former interpreter, Ipei Mizuhara, and millions of dollars allegedly gambled illegally in California. Speaking through a translator yesterday, Ohtani says he is saddened and shocked.
Just to kind of go over the result, in conclusion, Ipe has been stealing money from my account and has told lies.
Mizuhara is accused of stealing millions of dollars from Ohtani. He has not been charged with a crime. Ohtani signed a 10-year, $700 million contract with the Los Angeles Dodgers in December. It's the richest contract ever in Major League Baseball.
Our time right now is 5:44. Here is another live look at that bridge collapse in Baltimore. We're still working to learn more on what led to the incident.
You're watching Your Day.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Welcome outside. I have a bone to pick with our producers this morning for putting the weather guy outside when it's raining. Then again, it's pretty much stopped raining heavily. What I do see out here in Miamisburg is just a lot of residual moisture and obviously still kind of showering very lightly at the present point, almost tapering off as we speak. So that's the good news. The bad news is, of course, we do expect there to be the potential for some storms. Now, I'll say it this way. The chance remains low, and if anything, it has gotten maybe just a touch lower for the Dayton area. That due to the fact that we still expect there to be cloudy skies and potentially maybe even some more showers during the afternoon. Now, if we do get some sunshine and don't get a whole lot of rain, that does up the chance of some stronger storms. But even still, it's a very narrow window around 5 to 7 p.m. for us to see any type of storms, this along a cold front. And if we are going to see any storms, winds are going to be pretty much the only threat to us, and that's because it is going to be a windy day even if we don't see storms. So for right now, again, the showers, the first line is ending. That was to be expected. From here on out, major question mark about can we even clear out the clouds?
At any given time, there are more than 600 children in foster care here in Montgomery County. The goal is always to reunite those children with their families, but the sad truth is some of those kids can never go back home, and now they are up for adoption.
Dayton 24/7 Now has teamed up with Grant Me Hope to help, and this morning we want to introduce you to Janet, who's right now looking for a family.
Hi, I'm Janet. I'm in 9th grade. I am 14 years old. I like to listen to music and write. I like write my own stories. I really just write life stories. Like when I was at my residential, I wrote a 10-page paper on being in a residential at a young age, because I felt like if I wrote a story and I ended up publishing it sooner or later, that it would help younger girls or younger boys even to understand how it is to be in a residential when you're younger. And then I'm writing a story right now. Previously, I started writing a story on my laptop talking about high school, starting high school. I like listen to everything. It's weird. When I'm happy, I listen to sad songs, but that's normal. And when I'm happy, I also listen to rap. And then when I'm sad, I listen to sad songs when I'm sad. My favorite subject in school would probably be financial literacy and health. When it comes down to school, and I feel like notes need to be taken, I'm gonna take notes even though the teacher told me not to take notes. I'm gonna take notes because then I'm gonna have extra notes for when the quiz comes, because in 9th grade they have this thing called open notes, and we'd be able to take tests with our notes. So I'm like, let me just take extra notes. I really want to either be a teacher or a singer, because I like to sing. It's on my recording thing. So basically, I play music on my videos, and then I would like lip sync to them and record myself. I'll do that on Snapchat. And then I also dance, but I don't dance in front of people. I'm very independent. Well, I work at McDonald's right now. I either do front counter or I bag food. Honestly, I feel like what I see in a family is someone that I can talk to and trust, loyal, and helpful.
You can find out more about Janet and other children up for adoption right now on Dayton247now.com.
Every week we're going to feature another child on our Dayton 24/7 Now's Grant Me Hope profiles.
Our time right now is 5:50. We're just a few days away from Reds opening day. Coming up, the lineup for the first game of the season.
You're watching Your Day.
Well, we do expect there to be a window where we could see more rain later on today, including the potential for a few storms. At the present point, it does look like a lot of the rain is starting to exit out of the area. Perhaps there's still going to be a window up until we get into maybe 7 a.m. where there's still going to be showers. Again, you can see that drier air starting to move in. It's not going to dry up instantaneously. So today, it seems more likely that we are going to have perhaps just a couple of showers and maybe some storms, but I don't want to rule out some stronger storms if we do start to clear, and especially if we do start to clear, that chance goes up. As for today, SPC has us under a level 1, so let me show you how I think today goes. So first line of rain moves out. From that point on, real question mark about can we get any clearing. Again, if we get clearing, chances of some storms during the evening goes up. As it is, we may actually get some showers, which would considerably lower the chance of us actually getting any storms along the cold front. If we are going to get any, the better chance would be north and west, where there's going to be less likelihood of us actually getting any type of showers during the daytime. Meantime, for today, temperatures mid-60s at best. A lot of us may be stuck in the low 60s if we don't get any sunshine. Tonight, somewhere around 40 degrees, with a few of us popping into the upper 30s. We'll be in the mid-50s tomorrow and Thursday, with chances of rain and 60s returning for the weekend. On the roads this morning, so far, it's been a relatively quiet morning commute. I do expect it to be a touch slower, though, due to the wet roads. So keep that in mind this morning. You may need to give yourself some extra time and space as you head out the door.
The world's highest peak has a growing human waste problem. In an effort to cut down on pollution, Nepal is now requiring Mount Everest climbers to trek down with their own waste. And while that might sound gross, because it is, it shouldn't be smelly. Climbers will be given 2 waste bags, which can be used 6 times a piece. The bags contain chemicals to solidify the waste and make it odorless.
Cameron Diaz and Benji Madden now have a family of 4. The 51-year-old actress and the 45-year-old musician announced the birth of their son, Cardinal, on Instagram. In the post, they wrote, "He is awesome, and we are all so happy he is here." The couple added they aren't going to share any pictures to protect his privacy. Diaz and Madden also have a daughter, Radix, who was born in 2019.
Trader Joe's making a move that some customers might not find appealing. Individual bananas, which sold for 19 cents each for more than 20 years, are now costing 23 cents a piece. That's a more than 20% bump. And a Trader Joe's spokesperson says the change in cost for the national chain made the price hike necessary. The 19-cent bananas have long been a longtime favorite for customers, and it's been repeatedly dubbed Trader Joe's top produce item.
Costco is keeping a closer watch on its $1.50 hot dogs, drinks, and pizza slices. A Reddit photo from a Costco in Orlando, Florida shows a sign that says people without an active Costco membership card won't be allowed to buy items from the food court. This rule was always in place, but analysts say it was never really enforced. However, the membership card rule officially becomes effective April 8th. Costco memberships brought in nearly $4.6 billion during the 2023 fiscal year.
We're just a few days away from Reds opening day, and the Cincinnati baseball team held their first team workout at Great American Ballpark yesterday, and the team also unveiled the lineup for many of Thursday's festivities at Great American Ballpark. Now, Reds Hall of Famer Sean Casey will throw out the ceremonial first pitch. The game ball will be delivered by George Foster. Oh, love it. Marty Brennaman will also serve as the honorary captain of the game, celebrating the 50th anniversary of his debut as a Reds broadcaster in 1974. And Marlana Van Hoos from Kentucky will perform the national anthem. Great to see the mayor, Sean Casey, back in Cincinnati, and then also love Marty Brennaman, of course. I mean, he's the boss. He's the GOAT of Cincinnati broadcasting. So baseball. Love it. Thursdays,
I'm actually so excited.
I was going to say Thursday's opening day, and then the Dragons start up next week.
Oh, really?
So,
that's awesome. I am ready for baseball and sitting on my porch and just yelling at my radio.
That would be a sight to see. Please record that next time.
Yes, please.
We got a lot more coming up on your day at 6 a.m.
FEMA is heading out to multiple counties in the state today to assess tornado damage. We have what local agencies are saying coming up next.
And we're following breaking news this morning of a bridge collapse in Baltimore. This is a live look at the scene now. We'll bring you the latest out of Maryland next.
You're watching Your Day.
We're continuing to follow breaking news this morning. Right now, crews are on scene in Baltimore after a cargo ship crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge.
Footage shows the ship approaching the bridge and crashing directly into one of the support columns. A large section of the bridge immediately crumpled into the water. Here's a live look from the scene this morning. Officials say at least 7 people are believed to be in the water. Shannon Lilly with our Baltimore sister station has the latest developments from that site of the bridge.
Well, there is no set time yet for a press conference, but we do know that it will happen this morning as more and more media continue to trickle in. And this is truly something we have never seen before here in Baltimore. Authorities, just like us, waking up to this news in their beds. It's still dark this morning, but as we arrived here, an employee with the MDTA telling me there's not much to see because there's not much left to see. But you're looking here. This is the ramp that once led up to what once was the Francis Scott Key Bridge. This is the Baltimore Beltway. This is the inner loop, a major way that people commute here, and it is just gone. Truly unfathomable. And to give you some perspective there, you can see the red flashing towers that were once to the right of the bridge, and you typically see them if you took this route, you'd see them as you're coming over the bridge. But again, from what we're hearing, that portion of the bridge is gone. It's still dark this morning, but we do expect to get more of a view and perspective of the magnitude of this as the sun comes up. But we are learning that a massive container ship rammed into one of the supports of the bridge around 1:30 this morning. Several vehicles fell into the water below. If you see video that's circulating on social media, this is like something out of a movie. Authorities trying to rescue at least 7 people, we're told. But this is a bridge that's been open since 1977, and again, a major way that people commute. So really the only silver lining here is that this did happen overnight and that it didn't happen during the busy rush hour in the morning or in the evening. We know just how many people take this bridge. So of course, still so many questions this morning. How did this happen? How many people are injured? We do hope to get more information with that press conference this morning, and we'll continue to keep you posted. Reporting in Baltimore, I'm Shannon Lilly.
Of course, that news conference she just mentioned, we will bring you that live as it happens. To get breaking news push alerts sent directly to your phone, download the Dayton 24/7 Now app in Google Play and Apple App Stores.
Now let's take a live look at downtown Dayton, where we are waking up to a rainy morning here in the Miami Valley.
Yeah, let's check in with meteorologist Nick Maruziak. And Nick, are we done with the rain this morning, or is it going to linger around later today?
Well, I think we're actually seeing the rain move out as of right now in Dayton, but there is actually still rain in the Miami Valley itself. So for some of us, the rain has exited stage right. Others, again, we're just about at the point where we could start to at least relax a little bit. Now, here's the big question mark of today. Can we get any type of clearing? Now, yesterday it seemed a foregone conclusion that we would. Today, based on the way that the models have trended, it may be a lot more clouds, and if not clouds, then also some showers moving in during the afternoon. But as it is, if we are going to see any type of storm threats for today, and in particular this evening, winds are going to be about it. That because there is going to be gusty winds, and the dynamics are there for some gusts. Even if we don't get storms to be in the 40s, you add on storms to that, doesn't take a whole lot for maybe a couple of strong ones or severe, if, again, we do get any type of clearing. So something we're tracking closely. In addition to that, temperatures also going to be heavily dependent. Like yesterday, if we do get some sunshine, we could end up making a run well into the 60s. On the roads this morning, it is very much so a wet morning commute. As the rain moves out, the fear is people get a little bit complacent and we start to see some crashes. So give yourself some extra time and space on the roadways.
And over the last week and a half, many local agencies have been vital for tornado relief efforts,
including the United Way of Logan County, the American Red Cross, and other emergency management agencies. Melena Brown spoke with the Logan County EMA on their hopes moving forward.
Officials from the Logan County EMA tell me they're humbled by how much support the Indian Lake community has gotten in the weeks since the deadly tornado hit the area. So far, the United Way of Logan County has raised nearly $1 million for the Tornado Relief Fund. Those donations have gone and will continue to go to immediate and long-term recovery efforts. They've already started work on getting people in the area generators, roofing materials, and portable storage units. The Logan County Emergency Management Agency is hoping FEMA will be able to further assist in the efforts.
The day before, March 22nd, we had 532 tons of debris removed. So some of those kinds of things that are just happening that we would love to be able to see some FEMA resources to reimburse for that. But ongoing, if funding were to be approved, it would be helpful for kind of the temporary housing and the rebuilding side.
Ben Volrath with the Logan County EMA tells me there's no timeline for how long recovery efforts will take, but it's amazing to see how much has been done since the tornado hit. And a popular chain restaurant will be donating all of its proceeds it makes today towards tornado relief. We're going to discuss how you can be involved next.
And you can help this hard-hit community. Dayton 24/7 Now is teaming up with the American Red Cross and iHeartRadio to help those impacted by last week's tornadoes. To lend a hand, scan the QR code on your screen to support the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. You can also find the link on our website at Dayton247now.com.
The state of Ohio wants to make sure former Ohio House Speaker Larry Householder never holds public office again. Prosecutors are now charging him with 10 new state felonies, and investigators are accusing him of misusing campaign money and ethics violations. Now, among those charges is one count of theft in office. A conviction would keep Householder from ever holding public office in Ohio again. He's currently serving 20 years in prison for federal crimes related to the $60 million bribery scheme involving First Energy. He's appealing the sentence. Just last month, 3 men were indicted for their roles. All 3 surrendered and were out on bond.
We now know the name of the Springfield man whose body was found last week. Investigators say they discovered Justin Smith in the 800 block of South Center Street. The 28-year-old was last seen January 29th while making a food delivery. Now the Springfield Police Division is investigating his death as a homicide until evidence indicates otherwise. If you know anything about his disappearance, call investigators right away. That number is on your screen right now. It's 937-324-7716.
This new Carlisle man behind me is waking up behind bars this morning. Police arrested Glenn Sexton after a deadly shooting in Clark County Sunday night. He is accused of shooting and killing a man after a fight at a home on Slayton Drive. He later died at the hospital. Police arrested Sexton. He's charged with murder. The 24-year-old remains in the Clark County Jail.
The former Xenia postal worker accused of stealing mail is now facing several felony charges. Prosecutors charged Toja Hill with 2 counts of identity fraud and 3 counts of receiving stolen property. She'll be back in court April 5th. Her jury trial is scheduled to begin in May.
Our time right now is 6:08. Don't want to jump ahead 2 hours here. Don't forget, you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
A judge is now pushing back a trial date for a Columbus woman that's accused of killing a 5-year-old boy. We've got the latest out of Columbus next.
And here's another live look at the scene of the bridge collapse in Baltimore. You can see here just a glimpse of the debris from this crazy, intense incident. We'll bring you the latest from Maryland as we learn more.
You're watching Your Day.
Well, this is the picture this morning as the rain has mostly moved out of the Dayton area. We do expect there to be another chance of rain and, dare I say, likelihood of rain later on, not only as a cold front rolls through, but also as the general dynamics are there for us to see some showers. Plays a heavy role in that cold front. That is your chance of severe weather. it is a low-end chance. We do have level 1s over most of the Miami Valley. In fact, part of the area actually not even in the severe weather risk area. Meanwhile, Salina, Greenville, out towards Muncie, Fort Wayne, that's a level 2. That's where the better dynamics will be for us to see some gusty winds. In terms of our risk, it does remain quite low and somewhat heavily dependent on whether or not we can actually get the clouds and or rain chances to completely clear out of the area. If we do get basically a quieter pattern, that would mean that as that cold front comes through, here it is, 5 to 6 p.m., that would be your best chance of some stronger storms. But based on the way that the models have trended as of late, it doesn't seem very likely for us to get much more than maybe an hour or two of clearing, which would, in theory, lower that severe weather risk. Again, that's why they've kept us under the level 1. Where we do have that level 2, it is just a little bit better dynamics. But either way, I do expect there to be some risk of some gusty winds and also some, well, maybe more heavy rain as well. On the roads this morning, so far it's relatively quiet on the roadways. We haven't seen any tie-ups or concerns. Obviously, with the wet roads, you just want to give yourself some extra time, so keep that in mind as you plan out your morning hours.
A judge is now pushing back the trial date for this woman, Pammy May. She's accused of killing 5-year-old Darnell Taylor and then hid his body in a sewage drain. The judge is ordering a mental health evaluation, while her lawyer says she believes May understands the charges. He wants to focus on her mental state at the time of the alleged crime.
Competency means you're just, right now you can't understand who's who, what's what, and you can't help your lawyer with the defense, okay? But NGRI means at the time of the offense, you are unable, due to a mental disease or defect, to appreciate the wrongfulness of your actions. So they're two different concepts. And so we're focused on the latter.
Now May is due back in court at the end of April.
Our time right now is 6:14. Here's another live look at the scene of that bridge collapse in Baltimore. Officials are getting ready to hold a press conference on the incident. We'll bring you the latest from Maryland as we learn more.
You're watching Your Day.
Well, the showers still continue across the area. The heaviest rain, by and large, has moved out into the east end of Ohio, and we are in the midst of a little bit of quieter conditions. The major question mark still remains about how much clearing we can get. Obviously, in a day like today, where you do have relatively quiet conditions, at least the potential for it, you can grow a little bit of instability, but still, it's probably never going to become truly destabilized. I'm talking about the summertime where it's just thick, hot, and the air mass is completely saturated. So for right now, I think the way that today ends up being is a day where we are going to see some showers and potentially a couple of storms. But if we do get any storms to fire, there is at least some chance that one or two could produce some gusty winds. Terms of timing won't actually be necessarily during the early part of the afternoon. In fact, I would dare say it's more towards the evening hours. So after 6 p.m. through about 8 p.m. It's a narrow window. A, it's along the cold front, and B, once you get past daylight heating, that chance of us actually seeing storms does drop rather low. Tonight, 40 degrees. As that rain ends, it does turn clear for tonight. And because of that, tomorrow could be maybe not necessarily chilly early on, but it is going to be a touch on the cool side. Tomorrow, though, temperatures mid-50s. Do think we'll be mid-50s Thursday, followed by 60 on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Temperatures all within a few degrees of 60. Depends where the boundary ends up between the cold and warm air mass. And wherever that boundary is, that's also where we're going to see some rain chances. On the roads this morning, traffic moving okay for right now. Maybe just a touch slower, if anything, but that is to be expected considering that we do have a lot of rain on the ground from overnight, and it's still going to be very much so a wet morning commute for some of us.
Topping this morning's Dayton Business Journal headlines, a $130 million housing community is in the works in the Monroe area. Grand Communities Limited plans to lead the construction of a new single-family home development dubbed Stony Brook Subdivision. It will be located here at the corner of Kyle Station Road and Butler Warren Road. The 127-acre site will house 219 homes with various styles and types. The groundbreaking for the project is expected later this spring. To read more about this story and others like it, head to Dayton247now.com. Just click on the news tab and select Dayton Business Journal.
Our time right now is 6:20. Here's another live look at the bridge collapse in Baltimore. Expecting a news conference any moment now. We will break in with what they're saying this morning as soon as it happens.
You're watching Your Day.
Time for Pet of the Day here on Your Day, where, of course, it is a two for Tuesday. Almost jumped ahead to 2 for Thursday. We wish, right? As for today, we've got puppers and wee man. Them sent in by Tracy. Big thank you to Tracy. And if you have 2 pets, please send them in, because we need 2 for Thursday as well. And we're starting to run a little bit low on whether you have 1 picture of both of your pets or 2 pictures of 2 pets. We always love those as well. All right, as for today, 10 a.m. through 2 p.m., that is the time period where it is more likely for us to see cloudy skies and perhaps maybe an isolated shower. If we are going to see any storms, it would be about 6 p.m. But based on the fact that we're maybe not necessarily going to be able to clear out, I think that chance remains a little bit on the lower side comparatively to perhaps the last few storm systems. Also, comparatively, this more likely to produce some gusty winds as opposed to tornadoes based on the way that the wind fields are. Even if we don't get a whole lot of storms, there'll be some gusts in the 40s. On the roads this morning, wet morning commute, as you'd imagine, but right now things are moving pretty okay. Just a reminder to keep it slow outside as you head out the door.
U.S. officials say milk from sick cattle in Texas and Kansas has tested positive for bird flu. Officials tested samples of the milk as part of an investigation into an illness among dairy cows in Texas, New Mexico, and Kansas. It comes about a week after some goats were diagnosed with the illness. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, at this stage, there was no concern about the safety of the commercial milk supply.
If you're a fan of Nike sneakers, some of them may become more difficult for you to find. Nike reportedly wants to slash supply of its Nike Air Force One and Nike Pegasus sneakers in order to boost demand. Nike's goal is to prevent discounting and to make room for newer lines. Growth has slowed for some of its products, and stores have been promoting the shoes to clear inventory. So the company plans to cut back supply in order to sell its merchandise at higher prices and keep them from heavily being discounted. Nike expects the cutbacks to hurt sales during the upcoming fiscal year.
It's time to go all Popeye for National Spinach Day. Celebrate with a spinach salad, enjoy spinach dip, put spinach in your smoothie or add it to whatever dish you like. Spinach will give a boost of calcium, fiber, and cancer-fighting antioxidants to your meal.
And now we want to move to live breaking news out of Baltimore. Right now, officials are speaking about the Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore. Let's take a listen.
Our Mayor Brandon Scott, Council President Mosby, Councilwoman Porter, County Executive Johnny Oshevsky, and Baltimore County Fire Chief Joanne Rund. Our brief this morning will be an update on the search and rescue operation that's ongoing at this point. So at approximately 0140 hours this morning, our 911 center dispatched a call to the Baltimore City Fire Department for a report of a water rescue in the Patapsco River in the area of the Key Bridge. As units were responding, they began to receive numerous calls indicating multiple people in the water. At some point during that chain of events of calls, we began to receive indications that a ship may have struck the Key Bridge. We got further information through multiple calls that the Key Bridge, portions of the Key Bridge had actually collapsed. At about 0150 hours, our first unit arrived on scene and reported a complete collapse of the Key Bridge. We were also given information at that time that there were likely multiple people on the bridge at the time of the collapse, and that as a result, multiple people were in the water. We were able to remove 2 people from the water. 1 individual refused service and refused transport. Essentially, that person was not injured. However, there was another individual that's been transported to a local trauma center that is in very serious condition. At this time, we have multiple air assets from the Maryland State Police, as well as the Baltimore Police Department, as well as multiple marine assets from around the region, including Baltimore City, Anne Arundel County, Baltimore County, as well as multiple local and state police agencies, National Resources Police.
Again, you were taking a live look at a news conference out of Baltimore this morning about the Key Bridge collapse that happened there overnight. At this point, he says they've recovered 2 people. One is in serious condition. One has been released, and they are continuing their aerial search with all the resources possible to find anybody else that may have fallen into the water due to the bridge collapse. And they are continuing to investigate this. And of course, we will continue to bring you updates from the Breaking News Center all morning long. To get breaking news push alerts sent directly to your phone, download the Dayton 24/7 Now app in Google Play and Apple App Stores.
Our time right now is 6:28, still to come.
Today, FEMA will assess tornado damage in different counties. We have what local agencies are hoping for next.
But first, here's Gina Gannon with America Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Naki.
So I'm always looking for ways to whiten my teeth that aren't making them overly sensitive and aren't terribly expensive. And now I can do it in the comfort of my own home, thanks to the Mint Whitening Kit. Guys, this is so cool. This is a way to whiten your teeth with natural ingredients. So say goodbye to those expensive treatments and the treatments that actually make your teeth super sensitive. This is powered by natural ingredients. It's really cool, actually. So you're gonna use the White Max on your teeth. You're just gonna brush that on. Then you're gonna hit this button right here. And this is the violet light. This is what's going to help to accelerate that whitening. And then from there, you're going to apply your enamel boost, which is again, getting in there, helping repair that enamel, helping to soothe your teeth and gums. It's amazing. You're going to leave that on for 10 minutes. So I love that I can watch my favorite movie and use this. And then I get 3 times whitening in just 7 treatments. You get 75 treatments with this. It's so fantastic. Then you're gonna complete the system with the color correcting toothpaste from Mint here. So it's a way to correct, protect, and whiten your teeth all in one. And I'm thrilled that we have something that I can do at home that's professional grade. That's gonna take me no time at all. You can get this home today for 53% off. Go to asadeals.com.
Right now, we are continuing to follow breaking news for you this morning. Officials giving us an update on the Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore. Let's take a listen in as they answer questions from reporters.
We made that call yet.
Okay, and then were there other workers on the deck of the ship at this, or deck of the bridge at this point? We had heard that information. Can you confirm that?
We were being told there were workers on the bridge. We have yet to confirm that. We'll work with MDTA to obviously to get that information.
About how many cars were on that ship? Last question. On the deck of the bridge at the time it collapsed. You
don't have a number. I can tell you our sonar has detected the presence of vehicles submerged in the water. I don't have a count of that yet.
Thank you.
Chief, you mentioned upwards of 7 individuals that you're looking for. We've heard reports of as many as 20 individuals. Can you just paint a more clear picture of about how many people actually fell into the water, how many people you might be looking to rescue, and also if you can give an idea of how many vehicles, although you might not have the answer, but really just the search and rescue mission?
Yeah, I'll start with the last one. So I don't know how many vehicles yet. I know that we have detected the presence of vehicles. As far as the number between the 7 and 20, that's been a dynamic count throughout the morning, just given the fact that we haven't yet nailed that number down. We do believe that at least 7 are involved in that, at least 7 at this point.
That fell into the water?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you are listening to the fire department in Baltimore. Give us an update on the Key Bridge collapse there. He's saying that they have found multiple vehicles submerged in the water due to sonar. They are right now in the midst of a recovery mission to see if they can find anybody else that may have fallen into the water due to the collapse. Again, this is a news conference with the fire department, and that is the mayor of Baltimore to his right as well. We're continuing to bring you updates all morning long from the Breaking News Center on this bridge collapse. To get breaking news push alerts sent directly to your phone, download the Dayton 24/7 Now app in Google Play and Apple App Stores.
All right, we are waking up to a wet morning here in the Miami Valley.
Yeah, meteorologist Nick Maruziak joins us now. We're looking at the radar, and it seems like this first wave of rain has really moved out of the area.
Yeah, exactly. And you could actually see, basically, with the exception of maybe right along the county's edges in the Miami Valley, we are done with the rain for right now, but we are going to see more chances of rain later on, including some storms. Let's get to it, shall we? Well, this morning it was very much so a wet one outside, but we are going to get a pretty big break here. It's not going to be necessarily the type of break that is consistently dry, but there is at least a window where it could be more clouds than anything else, and perhaps maybe even a little bit of sunshine. In terms of the storm threat today, I've highlighted the wind into the yellow. Because we do have part of the area in level 2, that's up in Mercer County, but also that's pretty much the only threat. And even if we don't see a whole lot of storms, it is going to be windy with gusts up around 40. In terms of the timing of the storms, seems like it's going to be mainly for the evening hours along the cold front. That's where the best chance of any type of stronger storms does develop. As for the afternoon, if we do get any rain, it's likely to form as showers. As for temperatures, mid-60s, but that's depending on the amount of clearing across the area. On the roads this morning, so far it's a quiet morning commute as you head out the door, but it is very much so wet outside, so keep that in mind as you get out there. You may need to give yourself a little bit of extra time.
Today, FEMA will make its way across 11 counties here in Ohio that were all affected by the tornado outbreak earlier this month.
Melina Brown caught up with the Logan County Emergency Management Agency on their hopes for the visit. Melina?
Just days after the deadly tornadoes hit the area, Governor Mike DeWine declared a state of emergency for multiple counties here in Ohio, including Logan County, where the Indian Lake community was severely affected. He also asked the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, to do a damage assessment. So today, 6 different teams will visit areas and determine how much aid may be needed. I spoke with officials from the Logan County EMA. They tell me everything at their level has been done.
EMA offices and the governor's office and conduct state level assessments. Kind of the next step for possibly securing additional funding and resources is to have federal agencies come in.
Ben Volrath with the Logan County EMA also told me that the Small Business Association also came to the area and determined they will provide assistance as well. Now, if you're looking for another way to help today, multiple Texas Roadhouse locations in the area will donate 100% of their profits to the United Way of Logan County Indian Lake Tornado Relief Fund. Some of those locations include Fairborn, Troy, Huber Heights, and Springfield. But to see the full list of participating locations, you can head to our website, Dayton247now.com.
Developing this morning, Hamas is rejecting a proposed ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. The terrorist group claims Israel is ignoring key demands, like ending the war entirely. Hamas says it also wants Israel's military to withdraw from Gaza and a prisoner exchange.
The announcement comes just hours after the United Nations Security Council approved a resolution demanding a ceasefire during Ramadan. The United States abstained from voting. U.S. officials warned the move could hurt negotiations. The ceasefire demand does not include the release of all hostages.
And Israeli officials are reacting to yesterday's vote in the UN. The Prime Minister's office posted this thread on X. In it, officials say the resolution will harm efforts to release the hostages. In response, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is canceling a delegation to the U.S. Two of his top advisors were set to arrive in D.C. last night. President Biden requested the trip last week. He told Netanyahu he was concerned with plans for a ground offensive in Rafah and wanted the leaders to come to talk about alternatives.
Children who have access to books are more successful in school and beyond. That's why Dayton 24/7 Now is partnering with Reading is Fundamental and our parent company Sinclair for Sinclair Care supporting children's literacy. Scan this QR code to join our virtual book drive, just $4. You put a new book into the hands of a child. Donate today.
Our time right now is 6:39. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
And you run on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Taking another live look at that bridge collapse in Baltimore. We know now at least one person is in critical condition after that accident. We'll bring you the latest as we learn more.
You're watching Your Day.
the Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Trees of glass, that's how these look, and were sheathed in ice after a storm in Maine during the weekend. In Utah, Sunday, Grapple and Enoch, and Monday afternoon above Fairview, a funnel cloud appeared to form, but we're told it disappeared soon after. And Saturday night lights over Redding included these bolts of lightning with the hazy moon in the distance.
Listen to Off the Radar, new episodes every Tuesday.
Still looking for that perfect spring getaway? Well, scammers are still looking for people to con as well. Now, Cassie Arsenault shares how you can avoid being scammed during these busy travel times.
Here's what the cons can look like. It can be an ad on the internet. It can be a travel company or agent that reaches out to you and says they have this too good to be true deal on peak weeks like spring break. Or it can be when you're searching the internet, you try to book a hotel or a different place to stay. The pictures look amazing online, but then you get there and it looks nothing like that.
The problem with the internet nowadays is that anything can be made to look good. You see these pictures and you see this magnificent pool with running rapids and, we're great for the kids. And it's just blatant false advertising. So the problem is you as a consumer have to do some due diligence.
Here's how to protect yourself. You can do a little research on your own. Take the name of this travel company or the agent, put it into Google, followed by the words review, scam, or complaint. See what pops up. Chances are, if someone's been tricked, they've probably written about it. The next is don't sign anything until you've reviewed all policies, like where you're staying, all the details that go with that, as well as the cancellation policy. Next is never pay with wire transfer or a check. Always pay with credit card. They're the most likely to help you if you are finding yourself in a fraudulent situation.
Our time right now is 6:45. Here's a live look at Dayton right now. We're expecting some rain later today here in Dayton. Coming up, Nick's got a look at your forecast.
You're watching Your Day.
All right, this morning we are waking up to a rain-filled picture over a lot of the Great Lakes. However, we actually got rid of the rain for at least a brief little while. That's the question mark of today is how long. Now, this model is still showing that we could still have some showers in the area, but for right now, it is just a little bit more quiet. Up until maybe noontime, it should be fairly quiet. Again, that's the time period where not only the clouds are likely to remain, but perhaps maybe get another light shower in the area. If we don't get that, then there is the risk of us actually getting a better chance of storms. That along a cold front that is going to move through the area during the evening. The best chance of strong to severe storms, Greenville, Salina, that's where we do have a little bit better dynamics. As this continues to move east, it's going to run into some air that has already been churned up, especially if we do get those showers. So something we're watching closely is the potential for some gusty winds during the evening along that frontal boundary, perhaps maybe strong, borderline severe. But I think that's very much so conditional on us getting any type of clearing. Meanwhile, Wednesday and Thursday, we dry things out and keep things relatively quiet and near the norm. Right in time for the weekend, we do expect temperatures to warm up to near 60, but Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we do have at least some chance of rain. Depends on where exactly a boundary ends up. And where that boundary ends up, it's likely to be pretty wet outside. So there is at least some chance of rain. Again, it may be us, maybe up towards Toledo or perhaps further south of Cincinnati, but something we're watching closely. On the roads this morning, so far, it is a fairly quiet morning commute. Considering the rainfall, I haven't seen any tie-ups or concerns as of right now.
We're just days away from Reds opening day. The Cincinnati baseball team held their first team workout at Great American Ballpark yesterday. The team also unveiled the lineup for many of Thursday's activities at Great American Ballpark. Now, Reds Hall of Famer Sean Casey, the mayor, will be throwing out the ceremonial first pitch. You'll love to see it. And game ball will be delivered by the legend George Foster. Marty Brenneman will serve as the honorary captain of the game, celebrating the 50th anniversary of his debut as a Reds broadcaster in 1974. And Marlana Van Hoos from Kentucky will perform the national anthem.
Our time right now is 6:52. Here is a live look at that bridge collapse in Baltimore. You can see the massive amount of debris from the accident there in the river. Officials have confirmed one person is in critical condition. We're checking in with our Baltimore sister station to bring you the latest as we learn more.
You're watching Your Day. We're continuing to follow breaking news out of Baltimore this morning. The Key Bridge has collapsed in the Patapsco River.
This happening early this morning after a large ship hit the bridge.
Now let's take a look at that shocking video. Look to the left-hand side there. It shows the ship approaching the bridge and then it collapsing directly one of the support columns. The large section of the bridge immediately crumpled into the water, and there were cars on the bridge at the time of the collapse. Now here's another live shot at this hour. You can see just the total destruction left behind. Officials are warning this morning of a mass casualty multi-agency incident. Baltimore's fire chief just said in a news conference moments ago that they pulled 2 people from the water. One of them is in serious condition. Right now, officials say they believe they're looking for up to 7 more people, but that could change as more information comes in throughout the morning. To get breaking news push alerts sent directly to your phone, download the Dayton 24/7 Now app in Google Play and Apple App Stores.
Over the last week and a half, many local agencies have been vital for tornado relief efforts,
including the United Way of Logan County, the American Red Cross, and other emergency management agencies. Melina Brown spoke with the Logan County EMA on their hopes moving forward. Melina?
Officials from the Logan County EMA tell me they're humbled by how much support the Indian Lake community has gotten in the weeks since the deadly tornado hit the area. So far, the United Way of Logan County has raised nearly $1 million for the Tornado Relief Fund. Those donations have gone and will continue to go to immediate and long-term recovery efforts. They've already started work on getting people in the area generators, roofing materials, and portable storage units. The Logan County Emergency Management Agency is hoping FEMA will be able to further assist in the efforts.
The day before, March 22nd, we had 532 tons of debris removed. So some of those kinds of things that are just happening that we would love to be able to see some FEMA resources to reimburse for that. But ongoing, if funding were to be approved, it would be helpful for kind of the temporary housing and the rebuilding side.
Ben Volrath with the Logan County EMA tells me there's no timeline for how long recovery efforts will take, but it's amazing to see how much has been done since the tornado hit. And a popular chain restaurant will be donating all of its proceeds today towards tornado relief. We're going to discuss how you can be involved next.
And you can help this hard-hit community. Dayton 24/7 Now is teaming up with the American Red Cross and iHeartRadio to help those impacted by last week's tornadoes. To lend a hand, scan the QR code on your screen to support the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. You can also find the link on our website at Dayton247now.com.
This new Carlisle man behind me is waking up behind bars this morning. Police arrested Glenn Sexton after a deadly shooting in Clark County Sunday night. He is accused of shooting and killing a man after a fight at a home on Slayton Drive. He later died in the hospital. Now Sexton is charged with murder. The 24-year-old remains in Clark County Jail.
We now know the name of the Springfield man whose body was found last week. Investigators say they discovered Justin Smith in the 800 block of South Center Street. The 28-year-old was last seen January 29th while making a food delivery. Now the Springfield Police Division is investigating his death as